Chapter 71 Qian Duoduo, You are destined to my Sun and Moon Empire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This money is destined to be connected with our Sun and Moon Empire. Kong Deming said with emotion. The corners of Su Yu's mouth twitched. God, are they destined? This must be a fate of 8 lifetimes. Poor money, nephew is lost, wife is gone too, but Su Yu rubbed his chin. Qian Duoduo seems to have been single for 10,000 years. Even if he gets married, he is still a virgin. That Xian Liner is not a good person either. By the way, Xiaoyu, what did you want to ask just now? Teacher, why does your second martial soul only have 4 soul rings? Su Yu then remembered his doubts and asked. At that time, Kong Deming broke out, and Su Yu barely captured the situation of Kong Deming's Sun Martial Spirit's soul ring. There were only 4 black 10,000-year soul rings. You guys, you don't think that the cultivation of twin martial souls is easy, do you? Kong Deming said angrily. Is not it? In Su Yu's impression, twin martial souls meant cultivating one martial soul to a title Douluo, and then absorbing a 10,000-year soul ring for the second martial soul. If conditions permit, one can absorb a 100,000-year soul ring. After 9 soul rings, the soul power can at least reach level 98. As long as you have enough physical fitness, it shouldn't be difficult, right? Kong Deming's beard was twisted with anger. What do you mean by just? It is extremely difficult for an ordinary soul master to improve his body to withstand higher level soul rings, let alone to withstand twice as many soul rings. Let's put it this way, let a soul master absorb the first soul ring for more than 800 years, the second soul ring for 1500 years, the third soul ring for 3000 years, and the fourth soul ring for 10,000 years. By analogy, the age of each soul ring is twice the limit of an ordinary soul master. Do you find it easy? Su Yu shook his head. Then do you think the second martial soul even has to absorb 9,000-year soul rings? How much more difficult should it be? Every additional soul ring absorbed can indeed significantly improve the body's physique. The physical training required for the second martial soul of the twin martial souls to have all the 10,000-year soul rings can also be completed largely through the feedback of the soul rings, but the conflict between the two spirits also makes the threshold required to absorb each spirit ring high. Su Yu nodded to express understanding. Understood. No, it's not easy to cultivate twin martial souls. In other words, if the twin martial souls want to practice well, they must have a chance. I wonder if Kong Deming would be so angry that he would vomit blood if he knew what Su Yu was thinking now. It does not make sense. I am just telling you that the cultivation of twin martial souls is not that simple. You're messing with me. Teacher, does the conflict between martial spirits have a great impact on the absorption of soul rings by the second martial spirit? Of course it's big. Kong Deming thought about it and decided to use data to illustrate the impact. If I can successfully mediate the conflict between the two spirits after the 7th ring of my second spirit, then the 8th and 9th spirit rings of my second spirit can be absorbed directly, and I no longer need to work hard to improve my physique. The current situation is that if the body enough to add the 5th soul ring to the second martial soul is 1, and the body enough to add the 6th soul ring is 5, then after absorbing the 5th soul ring, it will be 3, but if there is no conflict between spirits, the physical requirement of adding the 6th spirit ring is actually 3, which is enough. Can't we reconcile the conflict between martial spirits now? Su Yu was not a twin martial soul and had no real experience, so he could only ask. There is not much difference in the quality of the two martial spirits, but the enhancement brought by the additional soul rings the day after tomorrow makes the two martial spirits inconsistent in level, making it difficult to reconcile them. Kong Deming anticipated Su Yu's problem this time and continued to explain. Do you think that the second martial soul is obviously attached with 10,000-year soul rings, and the 2 yellow and 2 purple soul rings of my first martial soul are not as powerful as the strengthening of a 10,000-year soul ring? You are right to think so, but for soul masters, there is a watershed, which is the soul saint. The soul king is a watershed. That's because some soul kings possess 10,000-year soul skill starting from this level, but soul saint is the watershed, which is a completely different principle. It just so happens that you are also learning the 5th level soul guide, and the principles here are the same as the 5th level soul guide. the 5th level soul guide no longer only depicts the only core magic circle, but begins to be divided into modules. Different parts of the modules depict different magic circles, and the magic circles of each part of the module form an overall circuit, thereby achieving linkage. The effect is finally concentrated on an entire core. When a soul master reaches the level of soul saint, a similar linkage effect will occur if he has 7 soul rings. 7 soul rings is the lower limit for stimulating this effect. This is how the martial spirit true form is realized. The 7 soul rings are an overall strengthening of the martial soul and are linked, including the next 8 soul rings and 9 soul rings. They will no longer be separate soul rings, but as if they are internally connected. This is the reason why martial soul avatar can increase the effect of all soul skills. Suyu didn't expect that he could learn such a profound theory of martial soul cultivation from his teacher, the soul master. This theory should not exist in Shrek. In other words, there is no such thorough explanation. The linkage between the soul rings will increase the martial soul no less than an additional 100,000-year soul ring. The 9 soul rings of my first martial soul are linked to each other, and the 7,000-year soul rings of my second martial soul are linked to each other. Only then can I hope to catch up in quality. Kong Deming's explanation was very thorough and Suyu could understand it clearly. Is there no other way to enhance the quality of martial souls? What about the rune method? That when Kong Deming heard Suyu's words, he was about to laugh it off, but suddenly his eyes flashed. The law of runes. To be honest, rune law is groundbreaking. In particular, its essential principles are applicable to most situations. Jing Hongqian developed the fusion soul guidance technology based on this principle. So can the runes of the rune law strengthen the martial soul? Definitely, blessing the martial soul with runes and stimulating it with all its strength, even if it is only temporary, as long as the process of absorbing the 10,000-year soul ring is completed, the physical bonus fed back by the soul ring should be able to make up for the lack of physical fitness. Kong Deming's current physical strength is 1, which can absorb the second martial soul and the 5th soul ring. After absorbing the physical feedback, it is 3, and the 6th soul ring requires a physical strength of 5, but at this time, the conflict between the 2 martial spirits was reconciled using the method of runes, and the physical strength required for the 6th ring was reduced to 3. At this time, you can absorb the 6th soul ring. After the absorption, even if there is no rune method to reconcile it, as long as the feedback after the 6th ring's absorption can bring Kong Deming's physical strength to 5, then there will be no problem at all. Good guy, it's time to change the day. Use the 6th soul ring that you haven't absorbed yet to complete your physical improvement. Your idea is very interesting, but many of the values need to be considered. The most important point is to ensure that after I absorb the 6th soul ring, my body can reach the 5 you mentioned. Teacher, have you forgotten the purpose of my visit this time? Chapter 72 Kong Deming, Happy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kong Deming was relieved. This time Suyu came here to help. The ultimate life attribute is only the soul sect, and the soul skills have little effect. Kong Deming didn't have high hopes for this. He was more looking forward to Suyu activating the living blade to help him absorb the soul ring. With the huge vitality supplement of the life blade, Kong Deming will absorb the soul ring more smoothly, and at the same time, the effect of absorbing the soul ring will be maximized. Not only does the soul ring have the greatest feedback to the body, but it can also greatly improve the physical fitness with the help of vitality during this period. Yes, plus the life force supply of the life blade, the success rate is very high, but the runes still need to be outlined and practiced. This time after I get the 5th soul ring and return to Mingdu, I will study these types of runes as a teacher. Kong Deming was moved. If this works, he can obtain the 6th soul ring in advance, although after obtaining the 6th soul ring, he is still far away from absorbing the 7th soul ring. It is further away than after absorbing the 6th soul ring after breaking his body normally, but absorbing the 6th spirit ring in advance has its advantages. The biggest difference lies in card data. It's the same as the feedback from Suyu's rune method of prepaying the 6th soul ring in advance. Absorbing the 6th spirit ring first means that Kong Deming can absorb 2 10,000-year spirit rings in a short period of time. If the number of years is high enough, he has the hope of breaking through again in spirit power. The feedback from the 6th soul ring was used to make up for the physical advance I had received. but the feedback from breaking through the 96th level soul power was actually obtained. Can we continue to absorb the 7th ring in advance like this? After absorbing the 7th ring, and exploring ways to reconcile the conflict between martial souls in advance, wouldn't the 8th and 9th rings be easily absorbed? Kong Deming felt that there was much to be done. I feel happy. I didn't expect that the twin martial spirits would be so fun to use. He patted his disciple's head and was filled with emotion. If you try to absorb 300,000 years among the 5 soul rings, the guaranteed soul power of level 95 can reach level 98. Upgrade your soul guide again. Kong Deming fell into an imaginative stage, so you brought him back to reality. So teacher, do you have any ideas about the construction of this rune? Actually, I have another idea. Teacher, you said that it's okay if we don't realize this. Since we realize that the 7 rings can automatically link to increase the martial soul, why can't we try to finish before the 7th ring by ourselves? Kong Deming was moved by Su Yu's idea again. According to what you said, we are actually developing a secret technique. Some family secret techniques actually involve the use of soul rings, some are fused rings, some are exploded rings, and some are combined rings. If the idea mentioned by Su Yu can be realized, then this secret technique should be regarded as a link. Hey, tell me, there are so many ideas, which one should I study first when I return to Mingdu after absorbing the 5th soul ring? Kong Deming smiled from ear to ear. All are feasible ideas. The direction of cultivation was so clear and not difficult, and he felt happy from the bottom of his heart. Teacher, what soul beast do you plan to absorb in your 5th soul ring? Su once again brought the teacher who was imagining the future back to the present. A twin martial soul like you can't just aim for the 2nd martial soul to last 10,000 years, right? Isn't it? Kong Deming felt that his disciple was cheating on him. But he could find no evidence. Teacher, with the cooperation of the living blade, can your 5th soul ring absorb 100,000 your soul ring now? Su asked. In fact, he is not worried about Kong Deming's subsequent physical problems. Want to know more about grass jelly? It was impossible for Su Yu not to make plans even after knowing the existence of fairy grass. As for Tang San's influence on those plant-type soul beasts, is one ultimate life martial spirit enough? The ultimate life is not enough. What about the ultimate power? He can always impress those plant spirit beasts. The previous series of theoretical discussions are not without effect, at least by studying these ideas, so you can better grasp the essence of martial soul cultivation. He Lao also often told Su Yu that in practice, one needs to understand the principles and analyze the essence, so that one can better break through barriers in the future. Su Yu felt that he might be talking about the secret of becoming a god. Under Su Yu's encouragement, Kong Deming decided to absorb the 100,000-year-old 2nd martial soul and 5th soul ring. There is a 100,000-year soul beast in the Jingyang Mountains, but it is not suitable for my son martial spirit. Let's go, we have to change our destination this time. Since he decided to absorb the 100,000-year soul ring, Kong Deming did not delay. According to the records of the Sun and Moon royal family, the largest number of 100,000-year soul beasts in the Sun and Moon Empire are gathered in the Evil Forest. The 100,000-year soul beasts there are not suitable for me for the time being. Except for the Evil Forest, the distribution of other 100,000-year soul beasts is slightly scattered. Among them, there are only 2 or 300,000-year soul beasts that are most suitable for me. Su Yu listened to the teacher's fiddling with admiration in his heart. 100,000-year-old soul beasts are treasures in every household. Let's go to Liang Valley. According to Kong Deming, there is a race of red golden birds in Liang Valley, and among them is a 3-legged red golden bird that has awakened the blood of the 3-legged golden crow and has reached the level of 100,000 years. While rushing on the road, Kong Deming was also explaining the theory of level 5 soul guides. Su Yu's understanding was incredible, and he could understand everything at once. Kong Deming basically just recited what he had learned and experienced. After doing this, Kong Deming was equivalent to sorting out the 5th level soul guidance device theory from scratch. Su Yu also found that learning in this way was faster than simply reading. There is no need to look for information or solve problems by yourself. The general idea can be mastered quickly with the guidance of the teacher. The two of them were walking, and even if their soul power was not low, it took them 7 days to arrive at Liang Valley. The fire attribute vitality in Liang Valley is extremely strong. there was a rush of heat. You wait outside, I will deal with it alone, and I will come out to pick you up when the time comes. Kong Deming did not take Suyu to hunt the 100,000-year soul beast. Suyu's role can only be exerted when he absorbs the soul ring, so let him go when the time comes, instead of following him all the time, which will make Kong Deming intimidated. Suyu waited for 4 days, until the 4th night, a silver moon rose in a fierce sun valley, blooming with a cold white light. Fierce flames rose, accompanied by angry screams, and an earth-shattering war broke out. The battle is also quite quick. In just 1 minute, the terrifying aura of the fire-attributed soul beast weakened, and its screams were full of unwillingness. When the soul guide is properly arranged, it is really powerful. Suyu sighed. The 100,000-year soul beast was hunted down so easily. A figure flew from the sky, grabbed Suyu and flew inward. Suyu was dizzy, and when he landed, he was already in front of the corpse of a huge red-gold bird. The blood-red soul ring is so soul-stirring. Chapter 73 Absorption Successful, Poseidon Pavilion Meeting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Suyu regained consciousness and took out the soul blade from between his eyebrows. Teacher, please recover first. As he spoke, Suyu mobilized the life force in the blade of creatures and injected it into Kong Deming's body. The first soul skill, the power of the stars. Suyu guided this part of life force and gave it special characteristics to restore Kong Deming's soul power and physical strength faster. Ever since he realized the realm of soul skill mastery through the purification power of the second soul skill, Suyu has been trying to explore other soul skills and try to reach this realm. The first soul skill, the power of the star spirit, was successfully mastered by him. This soul skill includes 2 aspects. One is to absorb the power of stars, and the other is to transform the power of stars into vitality, and stimulate this part of vitality to restore soul power and physical strength. Suyu only used the second part of the technique to guide the vitality of the living blade, and he had the current effect. However, with his soul power, the extent of his influence on this huge vitality is limited. But it still has the effect of accelerating the speed of restoring Kong Deming's soul power and physical strength. 3 minutes later, Kong Deming returned to his peak state, and a certain amount of vitality was stored in his body. He activated a soul shield, covering the area where the 2 people and the body of the red golden bird were. Then he sat down cross-legged and pulled the blood-red soul ring around his body. Suyu activated the vitality in the blade of creatures and injected it into Kong Deming's body. The second soul skill, Purple Moon Purification. The first soul skill, the power of the stars. The vitality stored in the life blade is extremely huge. Suyu is not too precious to be willing to use it. It is said that it would take 2 years to recover from the consumption when Kong Deming broke through level 95, but the soul-eating carving knife itself had existed for thousands of years. Kong Deming's physique met the standard, and he had extensive experience in absorbing soul rings, so there was no accident in this absorption, for him. The goal this time is to extend the absorption time as long as possible. Suyu also told Kong Deming about the active state of the martial soul when absorbing the soul ring. This time, Kong Deming also used this state to refine as much vitality as possible. For 10 days, the blood-red soul ring gradually shrank and integrated into Kong Deming's body. Kong Deming's soul power was agitated and surging, even more terrifying than when he fought with Duoduo before. Level 96. He felt like he was in a dream from another world. He had been stuck at level 94 for decades, and now he had broken through 2 levels in a row in just 1 month, which he had never dared to think about before. Good apprentice, let's go back to Mingdu quickly. My master can't wait to study the method of runes. Shrek Academy, the inner court, inside the Poseidon Pavilion. It was extremely silent. Sitting at the head, lying down in the chair, the rickety old man spoke to break the silence. Is there no news about Lina yet? There was silence in response to him. Qian Lina is missing. After the battle with Kong Deming, there was no trace of her. The Star Luo Empire also sent people to Shrek many times to ask what happened that day. In fact, Su Jiawei knew that. Saying this was just a more tactful reminder to Shrek and the others that Qian Lina at that time had tricked and killed an army of the Star Luo Empire in disguise. The Sun God Needle is a single target, but its power in Kong Deming's hands is comparable to a maximum blow. The leader of the 87th level Contra Luo Yi Changxing died instantly in that unit. The aftermath of the attack also caused heavy losses to the entire unit. The Star Luo Empire lost at least 5 Soul Saints and 1 Soul Douluo, and thousands of troops were also lost to the point where they were forced to be dismantled and transferred to other camps. Su Jiawei's inquiry already gave Shrek a lot of face and was very tactful, but Shrek couldn't give an answer, because Xian Liner disappeared. After that battle, Xian Liner escaped with serious injuries, then there was no further contact with the college. Shrek refused to give up and continued to wait. He sent people to search, but no trace of her was found. Now it can be concluded that Xian Liner is dead. In fact, the judgment could have been made long ago, but Shrek refused to admit it. After all, Xian Liner is a disciple of Mr. Mu, the junior sister of Yan Xiaozhe, the dean of Shrek's martial soul department, and she is also the dean of the soul guidance department. Oh, she is also the wife of Qian Duoduo, the deputy dean of the soul guidance department. Lin Laoxian and Lao Xian, who were present, also watched her grow up and had deep feelings for her. Naturally, they refused to accept the fact that she died. Unfortunately, after these days of waiting, there is still no hope. It's all your fault, Yan Xiaozhe. Qian Duoduo suddenly got angry, pointing at Yan Xiaozhe and scolding him. Why did you let Liner die at that time? Duoduo, I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Yan Xiaozhe's explanation was feeble. He himself also regretted sending Xian Liner to take the risk there. However, at that time, Yan Xiaozhe only proposed to send someone to confirm Su Yu's situation. They were from the Star Luo Empire, and the martial spirit blue silver grass was even more likely to be the ultimate life form. You need to confirm it anyway, right? If it is true, wouldn't it be wrong for him to join the Sun and Moon Empire? It was also based on this that he made the suggestion. At that time, it was Xian Liner who took a fancy to Su Yu and was an excellent soul teacher, but how could he defend himself at this moment? After all, Liner would not have sacrificed without his proposal. Kai Meyer, Yan Xiaozhe's wife and the vice dean of the martial arts department, was also silent at this moment. Qian Duoduo cursed for a long time, and after another period of silence in Poseidon Pavilion, Yan Xiaozhe spoke. Liner's revenge must be avenged. Who should I report to? Qian Duoduo asked directly, looking for Empire of the Sun and Moon. In full view of everyone, Xian Liner disguised herself as a strange and powerful person. In full view of the public, Kong Deming let her escape. Shrek ignored him no matter what, even though they were never unreasonable. This kind of struggle between high-level officials forced them to consider the factor of reason. Even, this is not the most important factor that restrains Shrek. What restrains them is another problem. Was Xian Liner really killed by the Sun and Moon Empire? She fled toward Shrek, and her route was all within the Star Luo Empire, seriously injured. This resulted in heavy losses for the Star Luo Empire. Coupled with her identity, her death can arouse the hatred between all members of Shrek Poseidon Pavilion and the Sun and Moon Empire. Just these few points make the Star Luo Empire no less suspicious than the Sun and Moon Empire. Does the Star Luo Empire dare to do this? Dare. They had been worried that Shrek would not do his best to help them fight against the Sun and Moon Empire for a long time, and they had urged him many times before the soul fighting competition. They really came up with such a plan. Coupled with the recent soul fighting competition, Shrek brought economic and facial losses to the Star Luo Empire, and everything became possible. Then we can't do nothing. Yan Xiaozhe said in a sad tone. Of course we can't do nothing. Mr. Lin snorted coldly, his tone extremely tough. Under the calm surface at this moment, there was unspeakable anger. She is an older generation with the same status as Mr. Xian, and her soul power is also at level 97. The most important thing is that she is Xian Liner's mother. Chapter 74: A Naked Threat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Of course you can't do nothing. Mr. Lin's tone left no room for doubt. She rarely speaks and respects Mr. Mu very much. He rarely loses his temper when Mr. Mu is around, but today, she made such a decisive statement at the Poseidon Pavilion meeting without waiting for Moon to speak. Buzz buzz. Qian Duoduo's watch, which is responsible for receiving intelligence, vibrates. Everyone's eyes were attracted. Even Qian Duoduo himself felt his heart stuck in his throat. Could it be news about Liner? He called up the code corresponding to the vibration, and after converting it into text, he was completely disappointed. At the same time, he was shocked by this piece of information. The Emperor's Dragon Soul Instructor Group of the Sun and Moon Empire fired an 8th level fixed soul-guided artillery shell, which landed on the Sky Soul Legion. The Sky Soul Legion suffered heavy losses. He told the information, and Poseidon Pavilion fell silent again. Today's Poseidon Pavilion is destined to be silent. Your Majesty, here is a letter from Duke White Tiger. The war ahead is urgent. The Fire Phoenix Soul Instructor Group of the Sun and Moon Empire has launched multiple attacks, and even used 3 level 7 fixed soul-guided artillery shells. Su Jiawei said angrily, "Are the Sun and Moon Empire crazy? Are they going to start a war? If I remember correctly, our front line is equipped with a level 7 fixed soul-guided artillery shell, right?" The minister in charge of intelligence in the hall hesitated. "Explain." Your Majesty, the White Tiger Duke ordered the army's inner soul master to fire the level 7 fixed soul-guided artillery shell. What's the result? Su Jiawei was heartbroken when he saw the expression of the Minister of Intelligence, but he still had to ask. The Fire Phoenix Soul Instructor Group intercepted it with a level 9 soul guide. Su Jiawei sat slumped on the throne. Su Jojo spoke at this time. We still have level 7 fixed soul-guided artillery shells in our arsenal, which we will hand over to the front line. How many level 9 soul-guided artillery can the Sun and Moon Empire have to intercept fixed installed soul-guided artillery shells? However, the expression of the minister in charge of intelligence did not improve. Your Highness, the Heavenly Soul Empire has just received information that the Sun-Moon Empire's Emperor Dragon Soul Instructor Group has used 8-level fixed soul-guided artillery shells and dropped them on the Heavenly Soul Legion. Is this a threat? This is a threat. A naked threat. Sun and Moon Empire, Mingdu, Kong Deming couldn't wait to study the method of runes. After handing Suyu to Jing Hongchen, he hurried to retreat. Xiaoyu, what you did this time is not small. Jing Hongchen also heard about the changes that occurred on the border of the Star Luo Empire. It was difficult for him not to hear about it. This matter was not trivial. After all, it involved a super Douluo, and it was also related to the relationship between the major forces of all parties. It's all teachers' breakthrough. Only with great strength can we defeat the 2 super Douluo. Jing Hongchen looked at Suyu speechlessly. There is no need to pretend in front of me. I still know what you have done. The martial god Douluo is currently being held in Mingda Hall, although very few people knew about it. How could Jing Hongchen, as the leader of Mingda Hall, not know? I'm going to go to Shrek Academy in a while. As soon as Jing Hongchen opened his mouth, Su Yuxiao, Hongchen, Meng Hongchen, Huo Yuhao and the others were surprised. During the soul fighting competition, Jing Hongchen developed a good relationship with Huo Yuhao. After learning about the situation of Huo Yuhao's second martial soul, Jing Hongchen no longer delayed and adopted roundabout tactics, using the excuse of guiding the soul master's training direction to let Huo Yuhao become his disciple. In other words, Fan Yu is Huo Yuhao's soul guide teacher, and Jing Hongchen is now Huo Yuhao's teacher in martial arts cultivation. Master, is it too dangerous for you to go to Shrek Academy in person? Suyu frowned. Why are you still thinking about running to Shrek? Don't you know that we just captured martial god Douluo? Although not many people know about it and think that martial god Douluo is dead, you are the leader of Mingda Hall. If Shrek really wants to take revenge, you probably have to stay there. We misled them when we were doing things, but it doesn't mean that the other side will definitely be reasonable and collect evidence. Many times, it is normal to be unreasonable. Who needs a reason to take revenge? If you hadn't severely injured martial god Douluo, how could something happen to her? Isn't this an excuse? He was already on the verge of revenge or non-retaliation, but if you send him forward again, Shrek would be so heartbroken that he might not be able to bear it any longer. Oh, there's nothing we can do about it. You and Yuhao both have ultimate attributes. Historically, only Shrek has the most say in the development of soul masters with ultimate attributes. Your cultivation is fine. I didn't think it was necessary before, but Yuhao's situation is a little more difficult. His ultimate ice is worse than your cultivation, and his speed is extremely slow. Even if I have resources to support me, I'm afraid that something else will happen when I reach level 40 or 50. There was only one Suyu before, and it seemed that it was not greatly affected after becoming the ultimate attribute. The speed of cultivation did not even drop significantly, so Jing Hongqian didn't pay too much attention. What's more, Kong Deming still has a real headache. Now that Jing Hongqian had accepted Huo Yuhao as his disciple, he was starting to have a headache. Especially Huo Yuhao's cultivation speed is really not fast. Even if there is a large supply of resources, the cultivation speed is ordinary without overstimulating the potential and damaging the foundation. The speed is only level 5 in a year at most, but now Huo Yuhao has not yet entered the stage of exerting his ultimate martial spirit. At level 30, this speed is estimated to be halved, that is to say, 1 year and 2 levels are over. Level 40 will be even slower. That's why Jing Hongqian is worried. Hall Master, the cultivation of the ultimate martial soul is not that difficult. The slow speed of cultivation is just the time loss caused by the passive compression of soul power. Xiu has practiced for so long and still has some experience, it's just that I didn't have time to say it before. Huh? Do you have a solution? Jing Hongqian's eyes lit up. If Suyu had a solution here to solve the problem of slow cultivation of ultimate martial soul, why would he risk going to Shrek? That's right, a soul master relies more on instinct to condense his soul power. What has the greatest impact on the quality of his soul power is the quality of the absorbed soul ring. In the process of cultivation, there is no way to actively compress the soul power, but to passively accumulate soul power and compress it bit by bit. The ultimate martial spirit only has a threshold for the quality of each bit of soul power. The soul power that is cultivated must be at this level, which results in slower cultivation than other soul masters. In this process, the biggest consumption is actually the slow condensation process of soul power under the influence of martial soul. The soul master himself did not exert any strength in his cultivation. The solution is also very simple, that is, exercises and runes. Xiu guessed that the few ultimate martial soul masters that Shrek could train were probably also disciples of the Tang Sect and had practiced the Qian technique. In this case, there is no need for me to go to Shrek Academy again. He turned to Huo Yuhao and said, Yuhao, practice with Xiaoyu for a while and see the effect first. Good. Chapter 75 Apply what you have learned Huo Yuhao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Su Yu and Huo Yuhao's affairs were arranged, Jing Hongqian began to supervise the cultivation of his grandchildren. Originally, he was not worried at all about the cultivation of the two of them, but the appearance of Su Yu and Huo Yuhao forced him to worry more. Smile, Meng, you two need to outline the runes as soon as possible. The two of them have been trying to outline the runes since they came back from the soul fighting competition. However, the purple energy in the sky remains for too short a day, and the cultivation of runes is greatly limited. In fact, the brother and sister had already sketched out the framework. There is not enough purple energy in the sky, but as the theory is improved, the framework becomes more reasonable, and only mental power can outline the runes. As long as their mental energy is not exhausted, they can outline the runes. In fact, it only took them 5 days to achieve the level of perfect sketch that Suyu had originally had, but because there is no purple energy blessing, the effect of the runes for the first time is not obvious enough. They can only continue to improve the structure of the runes, improve their effects, and absorb the purple energy to improve the quality of the runes. On the contrary, it was Huo Yuhao, whose cultivation was faster than that of his brother and sister. During the soul fighting competition, he learned the method of runes under the guidance of Jing Hongqian, and sketched a polyglyph in the Sea of Spirit. With experience in cultivating the purple demon eye, he can absorb purple energy more efficiently, and with the help of Tianmeng Iceworm, all it takes is to structure the runes and outline them without any effort at all. Under various conditions and additions, his runes have already had obvious effects. In Jing Hongqian's view, the dissemination of the concept of rune law is enough, and the specific rune cohesion in structure will be a very personal inheritance in the future. Just like soul guidance technology, they can communicate with each other and learn from each other, but they also have the obligation to keep the technology confidential. In addition to the structure of the 2 runes that Suyu obtained by the way when he first learned about Suyu's rune method, he is also constructing his own rune system. This time Huo Yuhao needed the condensation characters that Suyu had perfected. Jing Hongqian also asked Huo Yuhao to learn from Suyu and he would not get involved. It was Huo Yuhao's own fate that he could learn from Suyu. Brother Su, I'll trouble you next. Huo Yuhao said to Suyu. Tianmeng Bingcan said more than once in Huo Yuhao's spiritual see how extraordinary Suyu was. He evolved the ultimate life martial soul, explored the cultivation techniques of the ultimate martial soul, and even created the method of runes. All this makes a giant insect that has lived for millions of years feel ashamed. Huo Yuhao also deeply realized how powerful Suyu was. In his understanding, Suyu's power was not the absolute power possessed by Shrek's teachers, but the power of an idea, the power of talent. Huo Yuhao studied Ningxi characters very seriously. Suyu also taught seriously. He found that when he was talking about runes with Huo Yuhao, he gained a lot. Huo Yuhao's soul guidance theory is not as good as Suyu's. And he can't come up with a more complete idea about the structure of runes, but there is a million-year-old spiritual sky dream ice silkworm in his spiritual sea. Although it has been lying there for millions of years, the level is there after all. So what if the application is not precise enough? Even if it is weak at the same level, it is only at the same level. Tianmeng Ice Silkworm's mental strength itself is definitely not bad, and it has gone through a lot of transformations, so there is a natural feeling in the structure of the runes. He may not know why, but he can tell you that changing this line will have a better effect on condensing mental power. This is also the main source of Suyu's gains. With the help of Huo Yuhao's teaching, Suyu indirectly received the help of Tianmeng Iceworm, and the effect of condensing characters was stronger. In addition to runes, there are also techniques. Huo Yuhao is also practicing Suyu's skills, but the skills have no significant effect on condensing soul power. This is something Suyu hasn't had time to perfect yet. I guess, the reason why Shrek was able to cultivate a soul master with the ultimate martial spirit is inseparable from Tang Sect's Xiantian Kungfu. Xiantian Kungfu should have the effect of condensing the soul power, consolidating the foundation and cultivating the essence. Huo Yuhao nodded. That's right, you should continue to practice Xiantian Kung Fu, and when my technique is perfected again, it won't be too late to switch to another practice. This Huo Yuhao hesitated. After joining the Sun and Moon Royal Soul Engineer Academy, he deliberately stopped practicing the Tang Sect's techniques, especially after becoming a disciple of Jing Hongqian. He completely stopped practicing Xiantian Gong. Deep down in his heart, he felt extremely guilty for Tangya, who shouldered the entire Tang Sect's hopes alone. What, are you feeling guilty? Suyu saw Huo Yuhao's confusion. What's there to worry about? You've learned, that's your fate. As for recovering everything and abolishing your cultivation, it's even more nonsense. Didn't Tang San, his ancestor of the Tang Sect, learn the secrets of other sects that were not passed on? There are still no problems. Since he can learn from others, why can't others learn from him? How much you owe can be paid back when you become stronger. There is no need to worry about it. Anyway, it's just a period of transition. When Suyu's skills are further perfected and he no longer practices the Xiantian skill, he won't owe much. Even when Huo Yuhao understands everything, he probably won't have to think about repaying the favor. Suyu's enlightenment made Huo Yuhao feel much better. Yes, Yuhao, let's practice first. If you feel you owe the Tang Sect, you may pay back the favor in the future. Tianmeng Bingcan also felt that what Suyu said was reasonable, and started to enlighten him crazily in Huo Yuhao's spiritual sea. Huo Yuhao finally overcame the obstacles in his heart and planned to continue practicing Xiantian Gong and Purple Demon Eyes. By the way, Brother Su, I remember you said that the Numenon sect is the most suitable sect for me. Suyu coughed violently. Suyu had just finished enlightening Huo Yuhao and letting him leave the sect. When Suyu heard Huo Yuhao's question, he was immediately speechless. So you want to step on one more boat? You boy, you really know how to apply what you have learned. Under Suyu's gaze, Huo Yuhao felt a little shy and scratched his head in embarrassment. The Numenon sect's exploration of the Numenon martial spirit is the deepest, and their application of the Numenon martial spirit is also the strongest. In today's world, no matter how outstanding the genius of Shrek Academy is, they dare not say that they can suppress the Numenon sect at the same level, the method they mastered for the second. Awakening of the original martial soul is crucial to you. After putting aside his sectarian opinions, the more Huo Yuhao listened, the more he felt that the Numenon sect was pretty good. You don't need to worry about the second awakening of the spiritual eyes. The method of Numenon sect is actually not that difficult. It just challenges the limits of the body and relies on the will to awaken. Suyu said this after careful consideration. No source for this information was disclosed. At the same time, it can also lead to an insider in Huo Yuhao's spiritual world, and let her further explain to Huo Yuhao the second awakening of the original martial soul. Chapter 76 Distribution of Soul Bones and the Idea of Bone Pattern System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Suyu checked the information. In addition, he knew some of the methods of Numenon Sect's second awakening in his previous life. After checking the information, I learned that the Numenon Sect does often appear in the far north. Because of this, Suyu guessed that the Ice Emperor had witnessed the second awakening of the Soul Master's soul from the Numenon Sect, and so it is. Yuhao, this Suyu knows quite a lot. The Numenon Sect's second awakening of the martial spirit is indeed accomplished by challenging the physical limits, targeting the parts of their own martial souls. They will choose different extreme environments to stimulate their potential. In fact, all martial spirits are qualified for this second awakening, but except for the original martial soul, the probability of awakening of other martial souls is too small. Maybe 99% of people will not awaken in this challenge, but die, but the probability of the original martial spirit can exceed 50%. Because the original martial spirit is part of the body, the extreme environment stimulates the martial spirit more directly. The Soul Master's own will also has a stronger influence on the martial soul. The stress response of the Soul Master's body caused by the stimulation of the body under extreme circumstances is also more effective in blessing the body's martial soul. Although it was not absolutely clear that the Ice Emperor was far away, he had witnessed the complete process many times, and after the explanation, Huo Yuhao lost his enthusiasm for going to the Numenon Sect. It turns out that just challenging the limits is enough. Unfortunately, I didn't know this the last time I went deep into the far north. The far north is definitely not suitable for me now. Suyu looked at Huo Yuhao's silent expression and knew that he had probably guessed it right. Sure enough, the Ice Emperor knew something about the second awakening of his martial soul. Alright, the second awakening of the original martial soul can only be achieved with heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Now your goal is still to practice. Suyu continued to explain the structure of condensed characters. While teaching Huo Yuhao how to write characters, he was also constructing his own new runes. Suyu's understanding of vitality made him very successful in constructing new characters. Even on many of the lines of the runes, he did not refer to the specific core magic circle parts, but relied on his own instinct to outline them. Yuhao, please stop for a moment. Xiao Hongqian interrupted their practice. My grandfather is looking for you. Hall Master. Teacher. Well, Xiaoyu and Yuhao, I need your help this time. Meng auctioned a piece of soul bone during the previous soul fighting competition. Now I have made preparations for absorbing the soul bone. All that is left is you too, Xiaoyu. Your ultimate life attribute will definitely help with the absorption of dreams. Yuhao, your martial spirit is the Ice Jade Scorpion. I also want to ask you this time to see if there is any way to help. With that said, Jing Hongqian took out the Ice Jade Scorpion's soul bone. To be honest, after he obtained this kind of soul bone, he would naturally inspect it himself. The ice-attributed soul power inside was so powerful that Jing Hongqian himself felt its domineering power. He felt that something unexpected would happen if the Ice Jade Scorpion's soul bone Meng Hongqian absorbed. That domineering soul power doesn't feel like it can be conquered by ordinary ice attributes. It had been a month since Meng Hongqian came back with the soul bone. He was also studying and preparing auxiliary measures to maximize the success rate of Meng Hongqian's absorption of the soul bone. This is the soul bone of the Ice Jade Scorpion. Huo Yuhao recognized the origin of this soul bone at a glance. Jing Hongqian was not surprised. After all, Huo Yuhao's martial soul was the Ice Jade Scorpion. It was normal to be able to feel the power from the same source in his soul bone. Teacher, Senior Meng cannot absorb this piece of soul bone. That when Jing Hongqian heard Huo Yuhao's words, his face immediately darkened. Is it really what I thought? His appraisal may not be as good as the top appraisers in the Star Luo Empire, but he has seen the real ultimate ice and experienced Huo Yuhao's Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion martial spirit. The moment he got the Ice Jade Scorpion soul bone, he had an inexplicable suspicion. Why? The Ice Jade Scorpion clan is extremely arrogant. The soul bones left behind after their death cannot be absorbed except by the ultimate ice. Scorpion is a symbol of poison, however, the ice jade scorpion has no poison at all, and only has pure and ultimate ice properties. Their ice jade scorpion clan is proud of the far north, relying on the attributes of the ultimate ice. The soul bones they left behind can only be absorbed by the soul masters of ultimate ice. This is their pride. Senior Meng probably wants to rely on this soul bone to break through the ultimate ice, right? Ah. That's right. Meng Hongqian was stunned for a moment when he was suddenly cued and then replied. I saw in Shrek's collection that there was once a vermilion-eyed ice toad in the far north who wanted to evolve the attributes of ultimate ice with the help of the Titan Snow Demon. She did it and successfully evolved the attributes of ultimate ice, but he also died within a quarter of an hour after the evolution was successful. The poison she left behind after her death also formed a poisonous miasma in the far north that remains to this day. The corners of Su Yu's mouth twitched. This Huo Yuhao is really capable. Jing Hongqian also looked suspicious and stared at Huo Yuhao. Is this kind of information something you, a student from an external college, can see? In the end, Jing Hongqian did not go into details. The source of the intelligence is not the point is whether what Huo Yuhao said is true. Jing Hongqian chose to believe in this newly accepted disciple, although they had only been in contact for more than a month. He still chose this time to trust the other party and his own judgment in previous research. Yuhao, if you feel guilty, if you go to the far north in the future, I can take you to find 2 soul bones of the red-eyed ice toad. The Ice Emperor felt Huo Yuhao's mood and said, the soul bone was eventually assigned to Huo Yuhao, so you had nothing to say about this. Huo Yuhao values friendship, so it is always good to let him owe more. It is not necessarily a loss for Meng Hongqian. After all, Huo Yuhao said that the records he saw from Shrek were nonsense, but the case itself should not be a problem. He Lao worked tirelessly to study the rules of this Douluo plane. He was also very interested in soul bones and studied them for a while. When Su Yu's 4th soul ring was absorbed, the essence of the sword grass was refined into his soul ring. Therefore, Su Yu also possesses an existence similar to an externally attached soul bone like the god's laying sword. Since then, Su Yu has often thought about what soul bones mean to soul masters. Is it appropriate to think of it as a weapon that can be completely integrated with itself? If it can be viewed this way, then if the manufactured soul guide can achieve this effect, can the soul bone be replaced? Even if there is still room for absorbing soul bones, but can't the soul master's own bones be replaced? Which way is better, absorbing foreign soul bones or transforming all the bones in one's own body to grow into a soul bone-like existence? Learn about soul bones and engrave runes on your own bones. This is Su Yu's idea. It's a pity that he hasn't had time to study it yet. Alas, I don't have enough time to do it. Su Yu felt that it would be great if he knew how to clone himself at this time. Chapter 77 New Runes. Shrek is coming. Please read it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Yu already has a clear understanding of the scope of application of the method of runes, so when there is a need, you will want to rely on this aspect. Douluo Continent has avatar-type soul skills, but there is no soul tool with the corresponding effect, so it is impossible to start with the existing core magic circle, to construct runes with corresponding abilities, so you could only find Elder Yi. However, Yi Lao denied Su Yu's idea of taking a clone. Avatar is nothing more than sharing a person's mental power to think. Essentially the total amount of soul remains unchanged. Instead of taking the path of avatars, it is better to dig deeper into your own spiritual power. In Yi Lao's further explanation, Su Yu understood the essence of improving the efficiency of cultivation by avatars in his impression. It is nothing more than a person's limited application of his own soul. However, the avatar just separated out the parts that could not be applied, resulting in an effect that seemed to double the perception. In fact, if a person can dig out his soul to 100%, his thinking speed and perception will not be slower than if he is divided into several clones, and the quality of his thinking will even be higher. The avatar has more obvious disadvantages, which can easily cause a split in a person's will and form multiple personalities, especially in the state of avatar, especially when the comprehension of modules is divided, and the direction of comprehension may be completely different. It is extremely easy to cause schizophrenia. Under Yi Lao's suggestion, Su Yu gave up the idea of avatar flow. The ability of the clone can still be mastered and used in battle, and as long as the clone is controlled by the same consciousness as the main body. Don't allow a subconscious sense of independence to coexist with a certain sentimental memory. This is Lao's summary, so you also understood that his savvy is against the sky, but what he has shown so far is just a little unreasonable, and it is too much to say that he is against the sky. It turns out that I didn't dig it properly. Since that's the case, follow what you said, Lao Yi, and strengthen the excavation of the soul. Lao nodded. I have mastered some magic in this area. Spirit clearing technique. Bright soul technique. This is the first time Lao teaches Suyu magic, auxiliary magic. Magic resonates with the outside world by chanting spells, and there are also spell models to assist this resonance process. It is very similar to Suyu's rune method. The only difference is that the rune method solidifies the structure in the sea of spirit and can be cast at any time, which is more effective than magic. Of course, it's all the same when you reach higher levels. In Lao's world, magicians who cultivate their spiritual power are integrating with heaven and earth. In the process of using magic to resonate again and again, they are also adjusting the fit between their souls and heaven and earth. The realm is high enough, and the release of magic can also be instantaneous. Lao had been trying to change magic as much as possible to make it more suitable for the rules of Douluo Continent. The method is to rely on the difference between the forceful effect and the rules of heaven and earth to make the rules manifest so that you can feel it and slowly adapt to the new rules. Obviously, this is a method that only Lao can use. He has enough means at his disposal and his realm is advanced enough. Both magics have been transformed into magic that suits the rules of Douluo Continent, and so you quickly mastered them. The chanting of magic is also the resonance of energy and heaven and earth. So you groped for the rune patterns corresponding to each syllable while chanting over and over again, and then constructed the runes he wanted. Lao also naturally provided a lot of help in this process. Suyu's mental power has been greatly improved after fusing the living blade. It was not difficult to outline the two runes, but it only took a day. Clear. Bright. The two runes glowed in Suyu's spiritual sea, with the integration of purple energy and vitality. Even if the outline has just been completed, the effect of the two runes is quite obvious. Suyu's efficiency in researching insights has at least doubled, and this is just the effect of him initially mastering two magics and converting them into runes. The study of bone patterns is not suitable for the time being. I don't have soul bones in my hand right now. I can try it with the god-slaying sword first to see if I can improve the quality of the god-slaying sword as a preliminary exploration. The research on increasing the lifespan of soul rings must also be upgraded. There are many ways to increase the life of a soul ring. There are 3 ways that Suyu knows. One is to replace the soul ring, the other is the reward for the divine test, and the last one is the most conventional, which is the method of the original book to increase the life of the soul in the spirit tower 10,000 years in the future. The first point is to sacrifice the soul ring without dying. The latter two at least show that there is an entry point for increasing the life of the soul ring. All Suyu needs is to find a real breakthrough to increase his lifespan. Suyu had asked Lao about this before, and it had achieved results recently. This is also the most direct reason why Suyu put the research on increasing the lifespan of soul rings on the agenda. In addition to this series of research, the construction of new runes cannot be put aside. The raw characters have only recently begun to be constructed, but they are progressing the fastest, and they are almost catching up with the first 2 condensed runes. The 2 runes of Qingming are the slowest. Suyu needs to comprehend the 2 magics and then explore the structure of the runes. Magic can be used directly, but runes can have effects all the time. A lot of research is destined to delay my soul power cultivation, so I have to prepare a few more runes to assist my cultivation. Suyu thought of a secret technique he developed a long time ago, the art of martial soul activation. Living characters are outlined in text. After the movable type, there is Suyu's auxiliary rune for body refining. Body. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. Today, Suyu stopped his practice and research. Here comes Shrek. It was Jing Hongqian who asked Suyu to come over and join in the fun. There was not much money and the martial god Douluo fell into the prison of Mingdatang. And they had an inseparable relationship with Suyu. Now that Shrek is sending Duoduo Qian, how can he be without Suyu? Jing Hongqian just watched the fun and didn't mind it. However, This was the headquarters of Mingdatang, so there was no need to worry about safety issues, so he simply did so. Suyu came to Mingda Hall. He is now a second-year student at the Sun Moon Royal Soul Engineer Academy and a member of the Mingda Hall. When he came to the reception room for foreign guests, Suyu saw Qian Duoduo, who had an indissoluble bond with him. Also coming with Qian Duoduo was a middle-aged man named Fan Yu. Su Yu quietly came behind Jing Hongchen and listened to the argument between the two sides. Master Hongchen Hall, you can probably guess the purpose of our visit this time. Cannot guess. Qian Duoduo choked, gritted his teeth and explained the purpose carefully. 2 months ago, Shrek's martial god Douluo had a conflict with Mr. Kong from your country at the border of the Star Luo Empire, and then disappeared. I came here this time to learn about the details of that time. Brothers, I need to catch up on reading recently. It is expected to be on the shelves next week. Don't start reading it now. The promised 10 will not be less. Please support me by ordering the first order. I will post a testimonial before it is put on the shelves, and I hope you all will support it. It's just the last few days, please. Chapter 78. The fate is not shallow, please read it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Humph, your martial god Douluo ambushed my Sun and Moon royal team on their way back, and now that they are missing, you still have the nerve to ask questions. It's not an ambush, she's just responsible. What are you responsible for? Responsible for monitoring our return to China. Qian Duoduo was speechless. He held back his temper and did not get into a fight with Jing Hongchen. The main purpose of coming here this time is to learn and communicate, and asking about the details of that battle is just a personal task. After discussing this topic, Qian Duoduo expressed his willingness to have academic exchanges with Mingdatang. Suyu is still wondering why Qian Duoduo came here in person. At this moment, I knew in my heart that it turned out to be private goods. The purpose of this time is to exchange students, but Qian Duoduo has some private goods of his own and wants to continue investigating the whereabouts of his wife, but that's just right, I'm afraid he just forgot about it. Oh. Academic exchange. Jing Hongchen was very interested in Shrek Academy's proposal. To be honest, he had such an idea before. Let Suyu go to learn the cultivation method of the ultimate martial soul master over there, and then he can come to learn the soul guide on the other side. But with Suyu's efforts, he gave up this plan long ago. Now Qian Duoduo, a representative of Shrek, has come over to have academic exchanges with Shrek. He found everything interesting. In just 1 month, it was a completely different situation. At the same time, he also felt a sense of urgency in his heart. Shrek is also thinking of ways to catch up with the development of Mingdatang's soul guides. Sorry, the Mingda Hall, don't need any of Shrek's secret skills. Despite Qian Duoduo's talk, Jing Hongchen finally rejected Qian Duoduo's exchange student plan. Qian Duoduo's fat face turned red. He stared at Jing Hongchen and gritted his teeth and said, Master, are you sure you want to refuse directly? Seeing that Jing Hongchen was unmoved, he turned around and left while holding back his anger. Humph, Fan Yu, let's go. By the way, Vice President Qian, no, it should be Dean Qian. I should remind you, don't try to contact that person who doesn't have much money. Jing Hongchen was leisurely, sitting there drinking tea and making sarcastic remarks. Qian Duoduo's heart skipped a beat. Sure enough, not many were discovered. It has been several months since I received any news from Qian Duoduo to ensure his safety. Qian Duoduo had a premonition in his heart. This time he came in person, not only to try to inquire about the details of Xian Linner's battle with personal goods, but also to confirm the situation of the lack of money, although he had already speculated. But when he really heard the news, he was told by Jing Hongchen himself when he was already full of anger, that Qian Duoduo was extremely tormented at the moment. He couldn't do it. This is the headquarters of Mingdatang. I don't know how many soul guides are aimed at this side. Even if he is a level 94 title Douluo, he can't say he can resist. Even Qian Duoduo couldn't guarantee that he could kill Suyu before being killed with all his strength. Suyu. Qian Duoduo turned his back to Jing Hongchen, took a few deep breaths, and asked in a low voice, I don't care about him, are you okay? That little fat man is pretty good now. If you want to see him, it's not impossible. Jing Hongchen rubbed his right thumb on his index finger and middle finger. Let's meet. Okay, add money. Qian Duoduo looked ugly, entering here. It would cost him money to let Jing Hongqian receive him. And it cost a fortune. Jing Hongqian blackmailed all the rare metals he had prepared on his body, and now this bastard wants treasures. No wonder he took the initiative to reveal his whereabouts. There will be no loss if you meet each other, but you can squeeze out some good things, so why not do it? Would Qian Duoduo pay for a meeting? Meeting, that's his nephew. He already felt guilty for sending the 13-year-old fat man alone to serve as a spy in an enemy country. Now that he has the opportunity to visit, if he chooses to give up, then he will really not be able to forgive himself, especially since he just lost his wife. Qian Duoduo didn't want to miss his chance to see his nephew, which might be the last time. Not much, but 13 years old. If I want to take him away, what conditions do I need? Jing Hongqian shook his head and said nothing. I definitely can't take it away with you, undercover spy, still want to get out of the cell alive. Qian Duoduo sighed, feeling guilty in his heart, and secretly said, not much, uncle can only try his best to make your life here better. He took out a branch as thick as an arm and 2 meters long from the storage soul tool. The branches exude a hazy golden glow. A branch from an ancient golden tree? Jing Hongqian asked uncertainly. The ancient golden tree in the inner courtyard of Shrek Academy is said to be the core of the entire Douluo Continent, possessing various mystical functions. These external rumors have not been confirmed, but it certainly won't come out of nowhere. Since there is such a saying, then the ancient golden tree must be extraordinary. Moreover, in addition to various other effects, another proven ability of the golden ancient tree is well known, that is to gather the vitality of heaven and earth. In the entire inner courtyard of Shrek, the vitality of heaven and earth is more than 5 times stronger than that of the outside world. The concentration of vitality in a training place specially prepared for students will only be higher. Not to mention the Poseidon Pavilion, Shrek was able to cultivate a large number of strong men, and the golden ancient tree was indispensable. At this moment, Qian Duoduo took out a golden branch, and there was a strong breath of life coming from above, with vitality unconsciously gathered. That's how Jing Hongqian judged. Qian Duoduo nodded. Yes, this branch is an interception from the trunk of the ancient golden tree. I want to see you for a while, and after I leave, Mingatang must not abuse you much. He's just a child, he doesn't know much, and he hasn't been here for long, and he hasn't stolen your secrets. This condition shouldn't be too much, right? Can. With a smile on his face, Jing Hongqian fetched the branch with mental power and pocketed it. It is very worthwhile to get such a branch of an ancient golden tree. As for what a lot of money asks for, the treatment for not a lot of money is a little better. Jing Hongqian feels that the current treatment with little money is already standard enough, not to mention delicious food and drink. But at least the little fat man didn't turn into a kid, which in itself shows that the situation of not having much money is not so bad. Xiaoyu, take Dean Qian to see his nephew. Qian Duoduo followed Suyu to the prison where spies were held deep in Mingda Hall. He looked at Suyu and said, "Are you Suyu?" Qian Duoduo has heard of Suyu's name for a long time. After all, the part of Suyu, the strongest genius of the Sun Moon Royal Soul Engineering Academy, who broke the record for a second-level soul engineer, was included in the information Qian Not Duo gave him a year ago. This year's soul fighting competition, the individual elimination round of the Shrek Academy finals, was also ended by Suyu alone. In addition, Xian Liner also had an accident because of Suyu in disguise. The fate between Qian Duoduo and Suyu is not shallow. Pay attention, there is one very important point, that is, Xian Liner is locked up in Mingda Hall. Few people know about it, and they are all cronies. Outsiders like Shrek don't know anything about it. Chapter 79, Battle of Ideas, Visiting Relatives. Please read it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I am Suyu. Suyu was neither humble nor arrogant, which impressed Qian Duoduo. Aren't you afraid that I will suddenly kill you? Senior, don't be ridiculous, this world still needs order. Qian Duoduo snorted coldly and changed the subject. I heard that you are from the Star Luo Empire. That's right, I didn't expect the senior to be quite well informed. Suyu was not surprised that the other party knew this. Why do you want to join the Sun and Moon Empire? Qian Duoduo looked directly at Suyu. Nothing, I just feel that the Sun Moon Empire will unify the continent sooner or later. Why go against the general trend of the world? Bullshit trend. Qian Duoduo yelled, very excited. Suyu was surprised by Qian Duoduo's reaction. He didn't expect the other party to have such a big reaction. Qian Duoduo seems to be very repulsive to such remarks. What kind of bullshit trend is all bullshit? For the sake of this bullshit trend, will you abandon your relatives and friends? When I was 6 years old, the village was massacred by evil soul masters. From then on, I was just alone, and it was enough to live my life well. Qian Duoduo was silent for a while. Evil soul master, you deserve to die. Your village was slaughtered. Don't you hate the evil soul master? Don't you want to eradicate the evil soul master's organization? Shrek has always been committed to eradicating evil soul masters. Every year, the academy kills and injures a large number of students in order to eradicate evil soul masters. A cat cries and a mouse pretends to be compassionate. Suyu interrupted Qian Duoduo and said, you can clean up the devil you released by yourself, and you can still get such a big and beautiful label on yourself. What do you mean? Qian Duoduo asked in a deep voice with an ugly face. Did the evil soul master cease to exist 10,000 years ago? As far as I know, all the evil soul masters from 10,000 years ago were driven to the killing city by the Wuhuan Palace at that time, where they fought with each other. Even the very few remaining evil soul masters are hunted down by martial soul branches all over the continent at any time. Your Shrek ancestor Tang Sect destroyed the killing city and overthrew the spirit hall. Now that Shrek enjoys the same honor as the spirit hall back then, isn't it natural to take over their responsibilities? Why, you enjoy the support of the people, but don't fulfill this obligation. Even this obligation is the cause of your own sowing. In fact, Suyu still had some thoughts that he didn't say. He suspected that the rampant evil spirit masters were not just the reason why the killing city was destroyed. This is only one aspect. The most essential point may also include the Rakshasa god. The entire position of the Rakshasa god was destroyed by a certain god king. The Rakshasa god controls the power of evil and hatred and killing, and controls all darkness in the world. Is there any connection between this? The rules of evil and darkness are not controlled, and the evil spirits seem to have no limits, and their intensity is terrifying. Qian Duoduo frowned. The histories Suyu mentioned all exist, but no one has ever interpreted them this way. But if you think about it carefully, this interpretation does not seem to be unreasonable. Reception room. Suyu left with Qian Duoduo, while Fan Yu stayed here waiting. Soon, Xiao Hongqian, Meng Hongqian and Huo Yuhao came in. Yuhao. Fan Yu couldn't believe it the moment she saw Huo Yuhao. How could Huo Yuhao appear in Mingda Hall? Also, this school uniform. Yuhao, why are you here? Teacher Fan Yu. On the way here, Huo Yuhao heard Xiao Hongqian say that Fan Yu was here, but he came anyway. Since they could meet, he naturally wanted to come and meet him. After all, Fan Yu was very good to him back then. When the Wuhuan department was unwilling to give him the treatment of a core disciple, Fan Yu applied for him to be a core disciple of the Soul Guidance Department. However, Huo Yuhao no longer wants to go back to Shrek. It's good to be in Mingdatang. His teacher, Jing Hongqian, a 94th level title Douluo, personally taught him, and he had medicinal baths, medicated meals, and elixirs that greatly increased his cultivation speed, as well as the most advanced soul guidance technology. Best of all, there's nothing stopping him from getting his revenge. Yuhao, do you know how worried your teacher Zhou Yi and I are about you? And your friends, they are all worried about you. Fan Yu was pleasantly surprised when she saw Huo Yuhao, but when she saw Huo Yuhao's Sun Moon Royal Soul Engineer Academy uniform, she felt a surge of anger. I'm sorry, Teacher Fan Yu, I lied to you. No one helped me hunt for my soul ring. I came out alone. Shrek couldn't give me what I wanted, but Mingdatang could. Yuhao, how on earth did they confuse you? Fan Yu had an expression of disbelief. How could Shrek not give you what you want? Shrek is the #1 academy in the mainland and has the best training environment and resources. Wait a moment. Jing Hongqian interrupted Fan Yu's passion. Correction, the current #1 academy in the mainland is the Sun and Moon Royal Soul Engineer Academy. By the way, if I understand correctly, Yuhao's treatment in Shrek's outer courtyard is not as good as expected. Shrek's environment and resources are not as good as my Sun Moon Royal Soul Engineer Academy. Oh, by the way, such an excellent martial soul as Yuhao was overlooked by your second strongest person. It can only mean that you are really not suitable to train Yuhao. So you missed a big drama. It's a drama where old and new teachers are jealous and slander each other. Taking Duoduo Qian to the cell where the money was not much, the two argued many times on the way. Later, Qian Duoduo stopped talking to Suyu. He thought everything Suyu said was fallacious. Suyu shrugged and stopped continuing, preparing to give Qian Duoduo a chance to relax. We don't have much money. Your family is here to see you. The officer in charge opened the cell door and said to Qian Boudoir, who was sleeping soundly. Qian Boudoir sat up and rubbed his eyes. After seeing Qian Duoduo, he lay down and continued to sleep, muttering, I was really sleepy. Not much. Qian Duoduo took a look at the layout of the cell, not a dingy prison cell. There are soul guide lights for lighting, it is relatively clean and tidy, and there are beds, desks and chairs. Qian Duoduo almost suspected that Mingdatang was playing him. Not much. Qian Duoduo's tone increased, and with the blessing of soul power, his voice was like rolling thunder in Qian Boudoir's ears. With little money, he sat up from the bed in excitement. Uncle? It's really you. You came to save me. No, you just came to visit me. Not much money and incoherent speech. He didn't expect that his uncle would come all the way to visit him. Qian Boudoir took Qian Duoduo and sat beside the bed and started reminiscing about the past. Suyu did not follow him in. Uncle, Suyu, the one who came with you just now, he is a martial spirit with the ultimate life attribute, and he is from the star Luo Empire. Qian Boudoir lowered his voice and whispered to his uncle. Qian Duoduo's eyes were moist and his heart was sad. Needless to say, he already knew the reason why his nephew was arrested. It's for Suyu's ultimate life martial spirit. Qian Duoduo has mixed feelings in his heart. Chapter 80. It's not that the sun and the moon are good, it's that Shrek can't stay any longer. Plea. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Uncle, what's wrong with you? Qian Boudoir saw something was wrong with his uncle's expression and said with a slight worry. It's nothing. Just for this news, you really sacrificed too much, and our Qian family also sacrificed too much. After Qian Duoduo sighed, he did not tell Qian Boudoir what happened to Xian Liner. Uncle, they treat me quite well. Apart from restricting my freedom, I actually have a pretty good life. There wasn't much to say between uncle and nephew, and soon Qian Duoduo left the room. Let's go. Senior, I think you should consider the general trend. It goes without saying, I won't listen to what you say. Qian Duoduo has realized Suyu's ability to speak eloquently. Anything white can be called black. Senior, you are a bit narrow-minded. I'm just making my point, don't you feel it yourself? What exactly is Shrek's purpose? In 10,000 years of history, I have never seen Shrek make such a big contribution. Oh, it seems to me that you were just wiping your own ass when you said you were hunting evil soul masters. The contribution I am referring to is the development of the entire soul master world. Is the world of soul masters today different from those 10,000 years ago? I don't think so. In fact, Shrek took the lead in resisting such an opportunity for soul masters to develop as soul guides for thousands of years. When Suyu said this, Qian Duoduo's ears twitched slightly. He liked to hear this. Soul guides are opportunities for the development of soul masters. Those bastards from the martial arts department are all short-sighted. I think Senior agrees with what I said, right? Don't you, a knowledgeable person like you, want to truly explore the ultimate power that can be unleashed when a soul guide and a soul master are combined? Are you going to continue to waste your talents on meaningless conflicts of ideas? Qian Duoduo snorted coldly, but didn't say anything. Suyu continued to gather around him, talking non-stop. What exactly do you want to express? Qian Duoduo was still annoyed and asked coldly. I just want to discuss my understanding of soul guides with my seniors. Snort. Suyu realized that Qian Duoduo completely ignored his words and stopped talking. However, during the conversation, he still shamelessly asked for Qian Duoduo's contact information. Soul guides have not yet developed products similar to soul guide phones, but the means of resonance between soul guides to achieve information exchange has emerged. Return to the reception room. Suyu saw Fan Yu, who looked disappointed, and Huo Yuhao, who looked slightly guilty. Qian Duoduo asked Jing Hongchen again what he thought of the exchange student plan. The answer remains the same. Fan Yu, let's go. After leaving Mingdatang, Qian Duoduo noticed that Fan Yu was in something wrong and asked what happened. What? That blue-haired boy is the Huo Yuhao you mentioned before. Qian Duoduo feels that the world is playing a joke on him. Why? Why did he go to the Sun and Moon Empire despite being from the Star Luo Empire? Suyu can still be regarded as an example, so why is Huo Yuhao? Is this the general trend that Suyu said? Their reasons may be different, but they are all forced to join the Sun and Moon Empire. Qian Duoduo remembered Suyu's words. I chose the Sun and Moon Empire not because it's a great place. On the contrary, it's because I think it's not good to stay in the original three kingdoms of Douluo Continent. After Qian Duoduo left, Mr. Ma entered the reception room. Hall Master. What's up? Jing Hongchen saw something wrong with Mr. Ma's expression, and frowned and asked, Mr. Ma is only responsible for the operation of Mingda Hall. Could there be any accidents in Mingda Hall? Hall Master, the prince's people have just entered Mingda Hall. Huh? Jing Hongchen frowned more tightly and asked, what are they going to do? They went to visit Xianziwen. Xianziwen. Hall Master, there is something wrong with those people. Ma Laojiang described the characteristics of the people sent by the prince. Jing Hongchen was furious. Asshole, what is Su Tianran going to do? Xiaoyu, you go back to practice first. Jing Hongchen asked Su Yu and others to leave first, and then headed towards Xianziwen's research institute with Mr. Ma. Is he an evil soul master? Suyu guessed on the way back to the dormitory. The characteristics mentioned by Mr. Ma made Suyu have to think of this. What's more, they are the prince's people. It is very likely that he is the evil soul master, but what does the evil soul master want to do with Xianziwen? Seal the bottle. The milk bottle is an auxiliary soul guide that can store soul power in advance and use it to quickly restore soul power when needed. In the Sun and Moon Empire, with the application of soul guidance devices in military affairs, milk bottles were also an important power source for soul guidance cannons. However, the bottle has a fatal flaw, that is, the soul power stored in the bottle is lost all the time. Xianziwen is the only soul mentor who has developed the technology to seal milk bottles. Su Tianran now sent someone to find Xianziwen, which Jing Hongchen could tolerate, but the person sent might be an evil soul master from the Holy Spirit sect, which completely angered Jing Hongchen. It was Su Kun who led those evil soul masters here. The two sides confronted each other outside Xianziwen's laboratory. Suyu did not go over to join in the fun and concentrated on practicing in his dormitory. Suyu doesn't want to worry about the purpose of the prince's action. This time, instead, it was the prince's actions this time that reminded Suyu. Xianziwen is a research genius. Suyu wants to develop battle armor, and Xianziwen may be able to help a lot. There is also a soul guide that stores soul rings, which is also an epoch-making product. Putting aside these undeveloped projects, the technology of sealing baby bottles that Xianziwen has developed will also be of great use to Suyu. Sealing bottle technology can prevent the soul power in the bottle from being lost. In the same way, applying the principles to runes will further improve the runes. The most fundamental thing about a rune is its stability. It highlights one's stability as a whole and interacts with each other to maintain the stability of the entire rune. After the outline is completed, the cured effect can be achieved. As long as there is spiritual power flowing in the rune at all times, the entire rune will not collapse. However, the runes themselves were created by Suyu based on the existing soul guide core array. He did not have the technology to seal the milk bottle, so naturally he could not solve the problem of energy escape. In this way, the biggest problem with the rune method appears, that is, the soul master's mental power must not be consumed too much first, otherwise the insufficient mental power running within the rune will cause the rune to collapse. But if the principle of sealed milk bottles is added, this problem can be solved. The prince's mansion of the Sun and Moon Empire, Su Tianran, was playing with a level 9 soul guidance device in his hand, and looked at the soul mentor below. Self-conferring stage. What a loud tone. Does His Highness the Crown Prince distrust my inheritance of the demon sealing line? The soul engineer was very confident, as if he was extremely confident in his own technology of sealing soul tools. Please read it. Please read it. Please read it. Note, it will be released at noon tomorrow. Brothers, please remember to support the First Order. Please, I will send another detailed description of the launch tonight.